Peace be unto you, brothers and sisters, and all praises to the Most High. I'm your host, the Apostle Reuben of IUPR Bible Radio, podcasting out of Little Rock, Arkansas, to the true saints of the Most High God. Brothers and sisters, the Gentiles being saved and getting the kingdom is the number one doctrine in Christendom. This thing is earthwide. But did you ever think it would come a day where the Christian church would be battling the true Hebrews in that regard, if it was already sure? You look across TikTok, they got hundreds of them. Salvation to all, salvation to all. Jew or the Greek. But see, it's a lot of those type of crappy Bible studies or whatever I could say. Now, I'm just saying, because the reason why I call them that, and I'm not being a hater. I don't care how many followers they have. They can have 1 million, 100,000, 10,000. That's nothing. It is the quality of the person listening. All of you that are listening to me read, give it time. You're going to see the difference. Not everybody's cut out to do this. I designed my Bible study around reading a lot so you can copy the verses down and memorize them. And in a couple of years, wherever you go, there's nothing they can do if you're taking this serious. Now, again, brothers and sisters, the Gentiles being saved is the number one doctrine in Christendom. It is everywhere. It is done by every nation itself. Now, I'm not going to go into what I wanted to go to. I had something I needed to say, but I'm not. I'm just going to tell you what this thing is about. In our time in proving the Gentiles, we have warned you that it's wordplay. Wordplay. If they can get you to believe something else, they will. Now, before we get into Acts 11:1, I want to go to my 1949. This book is falling apart. I guarantee you, brothers and sisters, there are pages on here that look like this and pages that are torn up. You can't even see I can't even go to it for reference in scripture. It's over. But I do good enough. Now, this definition of a Gentile was from 1949. I want you to listen as we read. Gentile. The Hebrews called the Gentiles by the general name of Goiim. See, Goiim, which signifies the nations that have not received the faith or the law, have not received the faith or the law. The Gentiles that have not received the law. 1949 now, it says the Gentiles that have not received the faith or the law. So it was the faith and the law. Not just faith, law too. Not just faith, law too. Look what they knew back then. It was not just about faith, it was law too. It was faith and the law. That's why, brothers and sisters, when we go to Revelation 14, verse 12, here is the patience of the saints. Here are they that keep the commandments of God and the faith of the Messiah. So it was keeping the law and faith. You could not have faith unless you kept the law. See what these old books bring, brothers and sisters. See what these old books bring. They bring the truth. See, these books are out of circulation. I just happened to find this book at one of my old jobs. It was sitting there. I was like, well, I guess I'll take it. held on to it for years, opened it, looked, searched, and now look at us. Years of searching. This isn't no novice thing now. Here is the patience of the saints. Here are they that keep the commandments of God and the faith of the Messiah. Going back down, let's start again. Gentile. The Hebrews call the Gentiles by the general name of Goiim. Goy. See, Goiim, there it is. This is 1949, which signifies the nations that have not received the faith or the law of God. Whoa. The faith or the law. Either or. But let's keep going. Let's keep going. All who are not Jews and circumcised are comprised under the word Goiim. Let me read that for you again. Let me read that for you again. I want you to pay attention, brothers and sisters, on how these devils work. The phrase you need to be looking for, it left you a little bit. See, he leaves you a little bit of truth. Let me give you an example. I'm gonna read it. I'm gonna read it all, and then we're gonna go back over because I love it. Gentile. The Hebrews call the Gentiles by the general name of Goiim, which signifies the nations that have not received the faith or the law of God. Law. Boy, what they knew in 1949. All who are not Jews are circumcised. Excuse me, let me read that again. All who are not Jews and circumcised are comprised under the word Goiim. Those who were converted and embraced Judaism, they called proselytes. The Apostle Paul generally includes all Gentiles under the name of Greeks. Okay, so do you see what this book says? Man, we're going to, when you see Romans 16, when we see Romans 16, as you see Romans 1 verse 16, when we go there, we're going to go to another place, and then we're going to come back here and show you these devils are liars. It's how you look at it. But when you're reading, think of what you think of what's in the phrase you have to see. Like, watch this. Gentile. The Hebrews call the Gentiles by the general name of Goiim, which signifies the nations that have not received the faith or the law of God. All who are not Jews and circumcised are comprised under the word Goiim, meaning all non-Jews and uncircumcision went by Goiim. When it says, brothers and sisters, all who are not Jews and as well as circumcised, so anybody from wherever you were that was uncircumcised was a Gentile. We continue to tell you this. They continue to show in writings that the uncircumcision were the Gentiles. That's why when we go up to Zondervan, the newer version, when it says uncircumcised, one who is not one, it didn't say, it didn't specify any nation. It just says anybody, any man, including an uncircumcised Israelite. You Christians, it's over with. It's over. We now know, and they really, to tell you the truth, brothers and sisters, they know it too, but they try to lie, throw all this stuff in the way. No, uncircumcised, one who is not submitted to the Judean, I don't like saying Jewish, rite of circumcision, Gentiles. They knew that the uncircumcised were the Gentiles. Let's not move the goalpost. When we go back up to my 1949, we're going to start in the middle. All who are not Jews and circumcised. So move this out of the way. All who are not circumcised. Jews and circumcised, meaning not circumcised, not Jews and circumcised. So it's saying all who are not circumcised. That they throw that Jew in there. But it's saying all who are not Jews and circumcised. So all who are not circumcised, all of them are comprised under the word Goiim, Gentile. So it's telling you in this definition of a Gentile that the uncircumcision was called Goiim, which is Gentile. No matter how many places you go, brothers and sisters, it's going to say the same thing again and again. The Gentile was the uncircumcision. You cannot let Christians get you to think that, it's those who are not Israelites. What they're trying to do is they're trying to get you to see it that way instead of seeing it how the Bible presents it. Again, Acts 11:1. And the apostles and brethren that were in Judea heard that the Gentiles had also received the word of God. So they have received the word of God. You know, that's the Old Testament according to John 10:34-35. But and when Peter was come up to Jerusalem, they that were of the circumcision contended with him, saying, Thou wentest in to men uncircumcised. In verse 1, they were called Gentiles. In verse 3, uncircumcised, letting you know that the uncircumcised is the Gentiles, like they're trying to tell you here. They're telling you here and here. They're telling it's there. These people know the Gentiles were the uncircumcised. The uncircumcised was the Gentiles. Go back to this one. It says, right? Let's just start at the top. The Hebrews call the Gentiles by the general name of Goiim, which signifies the nations that have not received the faith or the law of God. All who are not Jews and circumcised are comprised under the word Goiim. So an uncircumcised man was a Goiim, a Gentile. They're telling you right here, man. And to tell you the truth, they had to do all who are not Jews. All who are not Jews. It should be Israel, but it keeps being Jews. It's a specific reason. Where are all the other tribes? Notice. All who are not Jews and circumcised are comprised under the word Goiim, meaning if you were uncircumcised, you were a Goiim. Goiim. 1949. See, we know, brothers and sisters, that the uncircumcision were the Gentiles. The Christians, see, when we go back to Acts 11, and the apostles and brethren that were in Judea heard that the Gentiles had also received the word of God. Watch this. And when Peter was come up to Jerusalem, they that were of the circumcision, which were the Jews, contended with him, saying, Thou wentest in to men uncircumcised, and did eat with them. The uncircumcised Peter went in to eat with is in verse 1, those Gentiles. Cornelius. Christians can't get around that. They cannot get around that. Uncircumcised Gentile. Now back to Ephesians. I'm going to move it out the way right now. Ephesians 2. In verse 11, wherefore remember that ye being in times past Gentiles in the flesh who are called, we already know, uncircumcised, one who is not submitted to the Judean rite of circumcision, Gentiles. This is how they knew the uncircumcised are the Gentiles. The Gentiles are the uncircumcised. Point blank. Never more clearer than here. Never more clearer than here. It lets you know that this definition is right because you see it here. Wherefore remember that ye being in times past Gentiles in the flesh, who are called uncircumcision. The Gentiles were called the uncircumcision. The Gentiles were called the uncircumcision. By that which is called the circumcision, the Jew, in the flesh made by hands, the knife. And see, brothers and sisters, once you go back to looking at the book of Acts, the book of Acts 15, in verse 1, and certain men which came down from Judea taught the brethren, and said, except ye be circumcised after the manner of Moses, ye cannot be saved. See, everything hangs on one word. Everything hangs on one word in this Bible. One word. And that's truth. Truth. But in this verse, it's one word that hangs, and that's brethren. Let me tell you something. There is no Christian, I don't care what portion of the pork he eats, that is going to prove to you by chapter and verse that brethren are to other nations. Brethren are the Jews. I mean, this is not some fellowship brethren Christian. That's blaspheme what they doing. When Paul, see, the problem is, this has always been the problem when it comes to, let's read. For I could wish that myself were accursed from Christ for my brethren, my kinsmen, according to the flesh. Who are Israelites. See, your brother is your kinsman. Your brother is your kinsman. Your people. We're going to go over this again. Brothers and sisters, maybe you are like me sometimes, but you got these hard-headed people out here that want to keep on challenging. Ezekiel 11:15, Son of man, thy brethren, even thy brethren, the men of thy kindred. I doubt we play with you. Your brethren is the men of your kindred. So when they were going down from Jerusalem to other lands, they were teaching, except ye. Let's go back. This is the part. This is the part. Brethren means your own kindred. And certain men which came down from Judea taught the brethren, and said, except ye be circumcised. There you go, brothers and sisters. The mystery is solved. You had uncircumcised Jews in other lands. Yes, you did. There it is. That's what you had. You've just broken the case wide open. They taught their own brethren, except ye be circumcised, meaning their brethren that were scattered in other lands were uncircumcised, worshiping other nations, gods. Again, That's why it says in 1 Corinthians chapter 12. We got to keep going back in it over and over. Paul's writing to the Jews in Corinth, Acts 18:1. 7, verse 7, where the synagogue was mentioned. Come on now. Let me put that back up there. Now concerning spiritual gifts, brethren, I will not have you ignorant. Ye know that ye were Gentiles. That's it. The brethren used to be Gentiles, carried around to these dumb idols in other lands, even as ye were led. What kingdom was ruling over Judea? Rome. And that's why. See, Christians, they know. See, they know. And what I mean by Christians, I mean Edomites. They know that there is a way to look at this book. So what they do is they throw out a lot of people and a lot of doctrine to confuse. No, Paul called his brethren. There's no you can't get by this. Now concerning spiritual gifts, brethren, his brethren is his own people. He told you in Romans 9, verse 3 and 4, who his brethren were, kinsmen according to the flesh, and that was Rome. Paul is a Jew born in Rome, so his brethren was in Rome. And when we go back, and I want you to pay attention to this, I'm going to make sure I show you again the book of Romans chapter. You Christians, you think you are slick. When we look at the book of Romans chapter 9, there's no other way to prove it. Verse 3, for I could wish that myself were accursed from Christ for my brethren, my kinsmen according to the flesh, who are Israelites. That's it. His kinsmen according to the flesh is his brethren, and they're Israelites. Israelites. His brethren are Israelites. The book of Acts 15:36. Acts 15. We'll do verse 35 and 36. I want y'all to pay close attention to this. I hope you get it. Acts 15. Verse 35, Paul also and Barnabas, both of these men are Jews. Hate to break it to you. Continued in Antioch, teaching and preaching the word of the Lord with many others also. Now watch Paul. Watch Paul. And some days after, Paul said unto Barnabas, 2 Jews, let us go again to visit our brethren. Stop. Our brethren. See, the Christian will try to have you to believe, oh, this is fellowship. Me and you, the nations are brethren in Christ. No, these brethren were the Jews. They're kindred according to the flesh. That's who these brethren were. Brethren did not go any other way beside kinsmen. Ezekiel 11:15, Romans 9:3-4. Stop lying, Christians. Stop lying. Your brethren was your own kinsman. Whites are kinsmen of whites, blacks are kinsmen of blacks. You try to mix them up and, oh, everybody this, that. No. According to the Bible, your brethren is your kindred, your kinsman. And some days after, Paul said unto Barnabas, let us go again and visit our brethren, other Jews, in every city where we have preached the word of the Lord, and see how they do. They were teaching their brethren in every city, not anybody in every city. Their brethren in every city, not everybody in every city. Not everybody in every city. They were teaching their own brethren in every city. So they didn't teach all nations. Acts 15:36, brothers and sisters, please copy this down and run this by them. Paul said, let us go again and visit our brethren in every city. Every city is every place. Our brethren in every place, not anybody or everybody in every place, in every city. Our brethren only. Let us go again and visit our brethren in every city where we have preached the word of the Lord, and see how they do. And one of those spots is this one right here. But one of the spots, one of the cities he went to and preached is this one right here, the book of 1 Corinthians. Book of 1 Corinthians 12, verse 1 and 2 again. Now concerning spiritual gifts, brethren, there's that brethren. City of Corinth, brethren, his own kinsmen, according to the flesh, scattered. Now concerning spiritual gifts, brethren, I will not have you ignorant. Ye know ye were Gentiles, carried away unto these dumb idols, even as ye were led. You brethren, you that were my people, brethren, my kinsmen, were Gentiles. Why? Why were you Gentiles? Why were you Gentiles? Ephesians 2:11 again. Ephesians 2:11. Wherefore remember that ye being in times past, remember Ephesus is another city his brethren are at. Just letting you know, every city, right? So the brethren are every city. See these Christians. Wherefore remember that ye being in times past Gentiles in the flesh, Gentiles, you were Gentiles who were called uncircumcision. Your brethren were calling you the uncircumcision, which meant Gentile. They tried to remove the two, but no, back down here. That's why Gentile, the Hebrews called the Gentiles by the general name of Goiim, which signifies the nations that have not received the faith or the law of God. Nations now. Now we know these nations as Ephraim. We don't know. They think nations is anybody, Chinese, Japanese, Arabians. No, those nations were the 10 tribes. Lost. They were further lost than the Judites, or I should say the southern kingdom. All who are not Jews and circumcised, meaning all who are not circumcised, not just Jews, but circumcised. So all who are not circumcised are comprised under the word Goiim. So the uncircumcision was Goiim, just like anybody who was not a Jew. This is the little bit of truth they gave us. They gave us that little bit of truth right there. The whole thing, you could just move out the way. When it says all who are not Jews and uncircumcised are comprised under the word Goiim, that's all you need to see. They told you, anybody that is not a Jew or uncircumcised, there you go. They had to admit that an uncircumcised man was Goiim. And man, we know. Wherefore remember that ye being in times past Gentiles in the flesh who are called uncircumcision. You were Gentiles in your flesh, and they called you the uncircumcision, perfectly showing you that Gentile and uncircumcision is the exact same thing. This is what Paul is talking about. Whatever those Christians are making up, no. Paul is letting us know through chapter and verse in his letters who Gentiles he's speaking of. The Gentiles he's speaking of is the uncircumcision and no other. And right here, right back to the book of Acts, right back to the book of Acts 15. Because see, brothers and sisters, we're going in the future, because we already have a Gentiles grafted in series. But if we decided to do it again, you would have to know this in order to understand Gentiles grafted in. You have to understand this part. And certain men which came down from Judea taught the brethren. The brethren was their kinsmen. That's biblical proof. Ezekiel 11:15, Romans 9, verse 3 and 4. That's biblical proof. And for one more, this is my favorite here. This is my favorite, the book of Esther 10. This really going to tell you what, for Mordecai, the Jew, was next unto King Ahasuerus, the great among the Jews, and accepted of the multitude of his brethren. The Jews was his brethren. The Jews was his brethren, seeking the wealth of his people. The Jews were the brethren and his people, and speaking peace to all his seed. Mordecai was great among the Jews, which were his brethren, which were his people, which were his seed. A Caucasian Edomite is not a Negro's brethren. No. You cannot just now you're making it say it. No, I got to get away from you. But most people, they stick around, man. These people, the ones that bow down and worship him. They bow down to him, man, and whatever he says, they have no problem doing it. These pastors have no problem doing that. It's over. Geno Jennings, all that knocking on the table, he's the worst of all of them. You can't, I mean, you got to see that somewhere somebody has got to, I mean, you're not going to, I tell you what, brothers and sisters, I'm not going to lie on the Bible or look away. Mordecai was great among the Jews and accepted of the multitude of his brethren. Mordecai was a Jew, which were his brethren, his people, his seed. That's what brethren meant according to the book. Not anything else but this. You see it. This is the third verse. And you even seen it in Romans 9, 3 and 4. It does not change. Your brethren is your kindred. So again, when we go back to the book of Acts, I hope you guys see this. When we go back to the book of Acts, we're looking at this here. The book of Acts 15:1, a certain man which came down from Judea taught the brethren, their kinsmen, according to the flesh, and said, except ye be circumcised, meaning there were uncircumcised Jews among the nations. And if they're uncircumcised, they were Goiim. This is the mystery. This is the mystery. It cannot be changed. There were uncircumcised Jews among other nations. That's what they don't want us to bring out. That's what they don't want us to bring out. Watch this. Watch this, brothers and sisters. Now, we're going to read it all again, but I want you to focus on the bottom. It says, now I'm going to read it from the top, but we're going to focus on the bottom. The Hebrews call the Gentiles by the general name of Goiim, which signifies the nations that have not received the faith or the law of God. Nations to us are the northern kingdom. Not everybody. We're just letting you know that now. Northern kingdom of Israel. All who are not Jews and circumcised. All who are not Jews or not circumcised or uncircumcised are comprised under the word Goiim. So any uncircumcised man was a Goiim, Gentile. Those who were converted and embraced Judaism, they were called proselytes. And now the proselyte was those that went back up under Moses. Not Paul and them. They didn't come back through Paul. They went back under Moses and the Pharisee. But pay attention. The Apostle Paul generally includes all Gentiles under the name of Greeks. You see that? all Gentiles under the name of Greeks. Now, I'm going to show you why watch this. This is going to be smooth, brothers and sisters. This is going to be smooth, and we're going to come back here, but I'm going to read it one more time. The Apostle Paul generally includes all. You see that? All Gentiles under the name of Greeks, Romans 1:16. So let's go there. Let's go to the book of Romans. Chapter 1. Verse 16. For I am not ashamed of the gospel of Christ, for it is the power of God unto salvation to everyone that believeth, to the Jew first, and also to the Greek. So they say this Greek is all Gentiles. The Negro, the Chinese, come on now. Greeks are, we just see Greeks. If Greeks are one type, they don't, when they show you Greeks, they don't show black Greeks, Chinese Greeks, Asian Greeks. They don't show different African Greeks. They don't show a multi-ethnic group of Greeks in history. The only Greeks that they show you are themselves. We are not, like they're going to sit here and they're not going to, pay attention to me, brothers and sisters. They're not going to let you know that this civilization is multi-ethnic, or it's already exposed. We would know that there were different types of Greeks. Watch the word, watch the coding of the word. When you see Greeks, you see white people, and only white people as a civilization. Put your mind to it. Put your mind to it. But then when we go back here, I want y'all to pay close attention to me. Pay close attention. It says at the bottom, the Apostle Paul generally includes all Gentiles. No. How can all Gentiles be under the name of Greeks if all we see is one ethnicity every time we look at the history of the Greeks? This is the code word. This right here is the foolishness. These pastors, brothers, sisters can't not see this. When it says, brothers and sisters, when it says, let me go back to the screen I was, down with Paul. It says, the Apostle Paul generally includes all Gentiles under the name of Greeks. All, meaning every nation under Greek. So all Gentiles are Greeks, all of them. No. Do you see that? In their photos and their history and their pictures and their writings, no. They're hiding the fact that they were at that time multi-ethnic. They hide that from you. But when you look at the term Hellenists, you see Jews who made Greek their tongue, and with it often adopted Greek ideas and practices, showing you that Greece was multi-ethnic. Why don't they show that in the pictures? They're telling you here they're multi-ethnic. You have Jews that were born in Greece, and they were Greeks. Grecia is Greece, the home of the Hellenists. Greek and Grecians, however, are to be distinguished. Greeks are generally those of Hellenic race. The bottom, those Jews the Bible's talking about, those Greeks the Bible is talking about are the Hellenic Jews. They know it. But the word may be used to indicate foreigners and aliens. Him. This is the foreigner. This is the alien. This is the race that burned down the temple in AD 70. So they can't be a part of this. except destruction. But our people just, no. Okay. For I am not ashamed of the gospel of Christ, for it is the power of God unto salvation to everyone that believeth, to the Jew first, and also to the Greek. And remember, down at the bottom, the Apostle Paul generally includes all Gentiles under the name of Greeks. Romans 1:16. Did you see that? All Gentiles. But so let's go to Colossians. I'm going to show you how they mess up. We're going to show you how they mess up. We're showing you this. Colossians 3. Colossians 3 and verse 10. We're going to read 10 and 11. It says, and have put on the new man, which is renewed in the knowledge after the image of him that created him. That's Christ in us. There is neither Greek nor Jew. There is neither Greek nor Jew, circumcision nor uncircumcision. So the whoa. Whip. Let's move back. There is neither Greek nor Jew. See, there's that Jew and Greek again. Jew and Greek again. Circumcision, which is the Jew, nor uncircumcision, which is the Greek. So the Greeks were uncircumcision. Yes, the Greeks were the uncircumcision. The Greeks Paul is talking about is the uncircumcision. And we're letting you know, but that's why when we see stuff like this, the Apostle Paul generally includes all Gentiles under the name of Greeks. No, he didn't. They did that and tied a verse to it. Paul the Apostle never done that. He never included all Gentiles under the name of Greeks. What Paul did is he told you that the Greek was the uncircumcised. And with that, brothers and sisters, may God be with you. We hope you saw this. We hope you see what's going on. Learn this teaching, brothers and sisters, before they start to attack it. Because they're going to work on it. It's hard to attack because you continue to see the two. The Greek was the uncircumcision, not all Gentiles. They lied. See, that's why I said these books, they have their demons. You just have to know how to look past them. But that's what you have. The so-called Caucasians like to add their little spin on this book, which is blasphemy. Look at it, brothers and sisters. We'll continue to teach it until you perfect it. The uncircumcision of Israel were those Gentiles. Point blank, and that's it. Peace be unto you, brothers and sisters, and love. May God be with us in these final days.